Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
You're still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. It's time for Newsflash. And it's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, I always sit on television and I urge you to go to Franco Trading Enterprise to get all your gadgets. Why do I do this? Because we are sick and tired of you buying fake gadgets. We want you to buy original gadgets. And Franco Trading Enterprise has got that and even many more. Is it television set you're looking for? Is it mobile phones? Is it air conditions? Is it CCTV cameras? Well, look no further because we'll serve you and even serve you better. You can download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still full papa fee. So let me introduce my guests for you. I think today I have two new guests. My first time encountering them, but I don't know if they've been on the show before, but you have. Okay, so, okay, all right. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, I must say. So sitting directly next to me is Professor Sharif Khalid, who is representing the NDC this morning. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Thank you.
Great, it's good to have you. And our very own, great, our very own man who is always in his red beret. I think that now there are people out there who are trying to compete him with a beret, but it's still fine. Bernard Mona, good morning.
Morning.
How are you? You look tired. I understand.
Really tired.
Yeah.
Really tired. Over the week, I was in the largely Upper East region, and yesterday I was in Tamale. In the Upper East region, it was like funerals were everywhere. A former Deputy Minister of Interior and later former Minister for the Upper Regions, Lawrence Tabasi, had passed on. And he was a deputy or minister under President Liman and also helped founded the People's National Convention in 1992. And so he is one of the founding fathers of the party that I so cherish. And so when the news came that his funeral was taking place, I had to join with the family and party members in Paga so we can give him a befitting farewell. Tabasi was a colossus, and I think that political writers need to also write about him a bit. Because I recall, one of the stories we heard is that whilst he was a deputy minister, he eavesdropped a conversation between his minister and some other persons when President Liman was out in Nigeria meeting with Shegu Shagari. And to the extent that his minister was saying that there was a lot of work to be done in Ghana and President had gone to Nigeria. And so President should always be home to do the work. And Tabasi quickly wrote a dismissal letter of his boss and sent it to, of course, the only radio or TV stations at the time, that is Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. So at 1 o'clock, news went that the minister had been sacked for insubordination. President arrives. What is the matter? He said the man was sitting somewhere saying that you should be in Ghana working and not be traveling to other places. So that constituted insubordination. And so President Liman had to move him to the upper regions to become the upper regional minister. Beyond that, he was such a fine, straightforward person. If you met him, I mean, even at his very old age, you knew that this was just a political figure. He spoke with confidence. He understood the history properly of our nation. And he's such a fine person. So I was there.
Okay.
Later, I joined the Honorable Isaac Adongo, the MP for Volga Central, to also mourn with him on the demise of his father.
You've been working hard, and you're here again. Good morning once again.
Morning.
All right, so representing the NPP this morning is Honorable Francis Kingsley Atukujo. He's the former Member of Parliament for Ekunfi and also the Deputy Minister, former Deputy Minister for Fisheries. He's joining us for the first time this morning. Good morning, Uncle Ato.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you for inviting me. My brother, we have been together for some time, but I've heard of your name several, but I don't think we have.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, so it's nice having you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
But if you don't know, this is the man President Akufo-Addo said that his people did not vote for, and therefore he will not take development to a conferior. He's the one.
Necessary.
You remember that one?
Yeah, no,
President Akufo-Addo said that he made one of their own a deputy minister, and then the people did not vote for him, and they expect him to bring development. He will not bring development. This is the man.
Let's quickly delve into what the newspapers have. But don't forget to join us this morning. Now, we are talking about the floods that are here again, year on. We talk about it, and we hope to see some sort of improvement, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. We see some works that start, but they never get completed. And so when the rains come, they come hard, and they hit us as hard. Lives are being lost. Properties are being lost. Accidents are happening. Well, we can't attribute all the accidents to the rain, but some accidents have also happened due to the rains. We'll talk about all of that. And then we delve into the SML deal. Now, with this SML deal, Manasseh Azure has spoken, and he's saying that the $100 million that have been paid to them should not have been paid to them because they did no work and do not deserve that amount of money. We'll delve into that as well. But let's hear your voices like we always do every morning. Join us via text messages and send your WhatsApp to us. Of course, the number will be on the screen as we stream live on Facebook. Make sure you send your messages on Facebook as well, because we do appreciate that. Now, let's start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. Church of Pentecost calls for drastic measures to curb galamsey. Will stabilize city. Finance Minister assures the nation. Finance Minister, this one, I like the assurance, but we'll rather want to feel it than to hear the assurance, because the assurance there, we've heard it, so do the work and then we feel it and won't talk again. GCB celebrates Asante Hene Graphic National Development Dialogue Series. Experts speak on quality health tomorrow. I'll do the New Finder newspaper next. The New Finder. $2.32 billion inflows expected, signing off OCCs to unlock more funds to restart stalled projects. AI takes center stage at CEO Summit today. Government initiates monthly dialogues to address concerns of businesses. An ambulance case. Was Attorney General entrapped? This ambulance saga, maybe tomorrow we'll delve into it. Maybe tomorrow we'll delve into it. The Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. Kwadwo Afari writes, what truly is at stake in the 2024 elections? Toshi Lord Bawumia's love for PWDs. We have outperformed NDC, Bawumia says so. Lands Minister praises Ghana's role in climate change, and government approves 2.3 billion Ghana cedis for NIB. We do the Republic Press newspaper next. AG drops bombshell, reveals Ato Forson's attempt to avoid prosecution. Italian ambassador holds talks with Agric Minister. Tanker driver strike. UPPF chief fingered over confusion. Wow. South Korea Agric Ministry collaborates with MOFA to boost rice seed production. 1 dead, 3 injured in herdsmen clash at Yabram in Oti region. A new force movement to collaborate with TUC for progress, says Cheddar. Okay. The final newspaper is the Daily Guide newspaper. The ambulance case, secret recordings, plea letters exposed. Breaking the 8 is possible. This is coming from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. There's a story here that's quite worrying. I know it's been trending over the weekend. It's a Ghanaian lady who's been missing in Nigeria. She went to Nigeria with a friend, and since then, nobody has heard of them. So her friend, herself, it got missing. They went to visit a man who I think promised to give them a job or some business or something. And we're just hoping that, the police will be able to trace and arrest this man and these girls will be found. 1 dead, KK Fosu blessed, suffer broken legs in car crash. And this happened, I think, yesterday. And it's quite sad because This weekend, it looks like there's been too many accidents, one too many, and you ask, why? What's happening? Is it reckless driving? Is it that drivers are tired? Are we having, broken vehicles? Are we having potholes? What is causing these accidents? Well, Lil Wayne attends movie premiere after accident. He also got involved in an accident. And for him, eyewitness says that he was speeding. So for him, he was speeding. But for KK Fosu and Bless accident, what we are hearing is that there was another car that was doing an overtaking. And so there was a head-on collision. Life. Claudia Lumo pays fees for GWR youngest male artist. The young boy, Liam, who has broken the world record. Liam has done what adults couldn't do. Who has broken the world record for Ghana. Claudia Lumo has paid his fees for him. Let me see if, there's no sports here, although we know that there's a lot that happened in the world of sports yesterday, over the weekend actually. There's no stories here with regards to sports, but we'll continue with our discussion. Please do join us like you always do. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Now just go to Franco Trading Enterprise to get all your gadgets, mobile phones, television set, laptops, anything. Just go to them. And they will serve you. You can actually visit the website at www.francotradingenterprise.com, or you can download the app on your phone, Franco Trading app, and just purchase any item you want. I've introduced my guest to you already. So the topics. Maybe we should start with the flats. Very worrying. There's a video of a young man who nearly lost his life, I think yesterday. He slipped into the, I don't know if that gutter is called or dog gutter or that. I know that gutter is a very big gutter. It's from Linima, goes all the way to Adabraka, to Odo. That gutter. He fell into it and he nearly lost his life. We know a lot of lives have been lost in that particular gutter. And there are a lot of questions that are asked all the time because that particular gutter gets flooded. Now, aside that, there are so many areas that get flooded. And it looks like these areas are constant. So you ask yourself, why do we have these floods in these areas? I can't even say this area, these areas, all the time. And we speak about it, and lives are being lost, and nothing is being done about it. Let me start this conversation with you, Prof. You are in opposition, so maybe I should start it with you. You saw the rains, you felt the rains, you felt the floods as well.
Well, I'm not trying to make this a political matter. It's a national issue.
Yeah.
So regardless of my stance, I still think that is something that ought to be looked at from a critical national lens. However, it is interesting that a government that has been in place for the last, probably would say in their 8th year, and we are yet not being in a position to solve these kind of problems. And these are basic national security problems, just not. And we have a whole sanitation ministry. And this is where we tie issues when we tend to think that they are rather political. I mean, and we can't talk about these flood issues without roping in the issues of Cecilia Dapa, because you'd realize that that's a very malnourished ministry. And we all saw what happened in her home as far as money has been concerned. And
We've not been able to prove where the money is coming from.
Well, but has she herself been able to exonerate herself that this money came from anywhere? So prima facie, what we are seeing is that a minister from a malnourished ministry has so much money at home.
What do you term malnourished?
Well, I mean, it's under-resourced, when we say. So given the quantum of money that were found within her premise, that is worrying to look at. And to juxtapose that with the worrying concerns of public issues and public interest issues such as flood or floods that is happening around or in and around the country, then that is more problematic and it makes the case more precarious. So, and you'd see how you've been dilly-dallying with these issues. It tells you the attitude of the government towards sanitation in and of itself. So in the last couple of years, what investments have gone into the sanitation sector in terms of drains, in terms of public education, right, in terms of zoning buildings, especially commercial buildings. So our assemblies ought to play a role because you see all of these kiosks coming up, these container shops coming up, among other things. So what has been done? So this is where the political lens comes in because these permits and licenses emanate from our assemblies or MMD municipal and metropolitan units. So what has been done to actually curb this issue? What zoning has been done? What planning has been done? Because, I mean, as you would indicate, it's not just loss of lives, loss of valuable properties have been. Because you would see high-value cars that are very electronic these days get stuck in water, right? Why would you even have such flats such that when people drive in, they get immersed with their cars? That is problematic. Then again, huge budgets go to private individuals to fix our sanitation problem by sweeping our streets, among other things, where you have sand debris gathering, they ought to clear all of these things. What is happening to these investments? And these investments that we've made, how does it yield and reflect these issues when they rain? So are we just paying money out or monies out to individual contractors that are not really doing the right job? These are things that we need to have a social audit of, an important environmental audit of, to really see and make security and risk measures to see how possible we can fix all of these things. Then again, you look at an institution like NADMO. You hardly feel their presence when you have much of this happening. Again, do they want to see, the whole of Accra flood before?
Isn't that we hardly feel their presence when it happens, or we hardly feel their presence before it happens? Because it looks like
both ways. I think.
It looks like we actually hear from NADMO when it happens, but before then we don't hear anything.
I mean, have we heard anything from them so far?
Well, we are expecting. Today's Monday.
Yeah.
So we are expecting to hear something from them.
It shouldn't be Monday. Rapid response. That's why they're NADMO.
But do they work 24 hours? Do they work
have
over
to
the
because
weekend?
they are an emergency institution or unit.
Okay.
So regardless, they have to be on a speed dial.
Okay.
Right? Because it's disaster issues and
But
they can happen anytime.
It will have to be the weekdays, right?
Yeah.
To
Whether it's
speak on
weekend,
issues.
whether it's rainy, whether it's fire, we don't pray for all of this as national disasters. They ought to be there.
Right.
On a speed dial. Right. Because of their function and modus operandi. So if we're not seeing any of these functionalities and a connect or synergy within them, then there's a problem with what has happened in the last couple of years. And this is a government that has said that is going to salvage and solve all of the problems for us, right? 1D, 1F, one village, one dam. All of these issues have not really happened. So if we have to go to a manifesto tick box exercise to see what has been done in the last couple of years, you realize that it has just been fanfare and, how do you call it, scandals upon scandals, the SMLs, the PDS, and the likes of that. And here we are, because one thing I always say is that let's look at it.
We know that this 1D, 1F, some factories have been put in place. It might not be a lot, but some factories have been put in place.
But ADS...
So if we talk about, it being a fanfare, then it looks like we are not being too fair here.
No, how many factories have been put in
exactly.
place?
So you can say some, but not many.
Example, how many?
Oh, there are some that have been put in place. Uncle Ato is here. He will definitely respond to all of
Can we name up to 3 on our fingers?
But you can.
In the central region, we have my hometown, the first one that was done.
You want to say Kumfi Juice?
A Kumfi Juice, yes.
Well, that's a private.
Which one is that? What do you mean by private initiative? Listen.
Let me finish. When you get your turn, you will expand on the Kumfi.
Okay.
So as I was saying, again, if you look at the attitude of an average Ghanaian and what has happened in the last couple of years, which is reflective of the performance of the government, what used to happen is that back in the day, you're middle class, I would say, right? Do you want to deny that?
I'm on national television.
All right, but it's good to be middle class at least. So you are middle class. Back in the day, what happened was, when the roads are bad, you buy a 4WD, right? You buy a 4-wheel. When the taps are not running, you get a poly tank. When there's no electricity, you buy a genset. Today, average or well-meaning middle-class Ghanaians are able to afford all of these things. You'll find a middle-level manager in a bank or an insurance company who is still happy to japa. Why? It's because of the kind of situation we've put in. We can afford all of the substitutes that we used to afford years back to put comfort in ourselves. Now, we are able to afford them, yet we want to leave the country. Why? So these are some of the issues that have become push factors for certain people to want to leave. And we ought to make it conducive. Ghana is the only country we have.
Well, Bernard.
Well, greetings to Ato and to Sharif, and of course to yourself. Aren't we tired of yearly talking about a problem and lamenting about the situation rather than talking about the solutions that we have put in place that has enabled to the benefit of our society, saved life, saved properties, and above all, improved our lot. The water that we experience in no time will be drought. This water is easily converted or convertible into many uses: domestic, agricultural, and industrial purposes. This water in other jurisdictions is harvested and people use it for tourist purposes and for entertainment purposes and for, of course, aqua life. That is the water that just flows, sweep away our lives, our properties. We can't even get water to drink. And Bob Marley will sing, "In the abundance of water, fools are thirsty." So whilst we have water running, in the next minute, no water to drink. So the prophecy of Bob Marley is sitting as right here in Ghana, that in the abundance of water, fools are thirsty. But of course, it is not we, the Ghanaians, who are the fools, but it is the leadership that has failed to demonstrate what it is to be leaders. Look, this water comes from various ends, and Accra is low. So what do? You create what we call check dams. We know the water paths. And so you create check dams along the water paths so that as the water is flowing from a higher terrain, it gets absorbed in a lower terrain. There is a dam. When that dam is full, there's spillway. The water flows from that angle and it enters into the next dam at a distance. It reduces the ferociousness of the water, the power of the water. So by the time the water gets downstream here, it is contained. By putting up the check dams, you are also able to store water. So you don't struggle to be looking for water for commercial, domestic, agricultural, and industrial purposes because you have harvested water and you have stored. How difficult and complex is this situation? That yearly we have to be confronted with number of people that have been swept away, properties that have been swept away. And the worst circumstances is that, you know, that by the failure of our nation, there are people who are living rough by the waterways. They have no place to live, so they get any small structure, they put it anywhere so they can survive.
But this blame, I think, goes to all political parties that have led the country, because we can't even say that under the NDC government, we didn't see this happening. We saw it happen under NDC, we've seen it happen under NPP, so both political parties have failed in this sector.
I have not mentioned any political party. I have just complained about how yearly we are confronted with this situation.
Yeah.
But who doesn't know that I have complained that for 32 years, we have run this nation aground. And if we have run this nation aground, it couldn't have been just the NPP in the 32 years, because the NDC has secured 16 of that 32. NPP has also secured 16 of that 32. And this is the state of our nation. So it is not to blame that NDC has not done what. In any case, in the current circumstances, what the NDC failed to do, to construct, probably is the reason for which NPP won elections. So should they also fail to construct because NDC failed? There cannot be justification that because NDC failed to do some things, NPP is justified to also come and fail. We saw June 3rd here, just here. And if you saw June 3rd, you will appreciate what we are talking about here. There was water consuming people at the same time. There was fire. So you didn't know where to run to. And these circumstances, look, our roads are filled. It's sickening.
Anyway, Uncle Ato, since your government is in power, it looks like the blame is on you now. That's what everybody seems to be saying, that, you know, the NPP government promised that we were not going to get this, and we're getting this. Even June 3rd was used as one of the campaign promises, you know, where the NDC government was hit hard because there was a construction that was going on that caused that flood, that many people lost their lives. The NPP said that they were going to fix these things. We were not going to see floods, but we're seeing it, and it's even getting worse.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Rosalind.
First of all, okay, let me greet the good people for Kumfi who gave me the money to represent them, and for whose reason.
But because of the president had denied them development.
Bernard,
let's not put
Bernard,
please.
Bernard, please, it's his time. Let him speak.
The president has denied them development because of you.
To the president for bringing them the first factory. My brother was saying it's a private investment. It is never a private investment. I was part from the very beginning, and I saw the commitment and the support of government to develop
100%
that.
government.
Every project of 1D, 1F is supposed to be owned by a private person. It's not supposed to be owned by the state. It's a promotion by government where a scheme is created. Government give them a facility from Exim Bank, from wherever. Get your things in, we'll give you tax reliefs. We got the tax reliefs from them, enable them to set up a factory. A whole lot of support from Ghana Export Promotion Council with pineapple roots and all that went in. You understand? So that is the rationale of the project. The project is all to be owned by Ghana government and to be run by Ghana government.
Are you saying that all one district,
one factories in Ghana
are supposed
to be privately owned?
Really?
Yes. They are not government.
And how many of them do we have?
Okay.
Oh, in the central region, I know of 3.
Okay.
I know a
So how does government claim that you have built one district, one factory?
But that's a policy. Go and read the policy document. If you read the policy document, you understand
but that's not what Ghanaians were told.
What we are told.
Is it?
Ghanaians were not told.
No.
Coming to do one district, one factory.
It was later that Ghanaians were told that if you have a company, you can come in for support.
No,
then government was
So how
going
do you
because
claim that
during
it's
campaign,
for you?
during 2016 campaign, what Ghanaians were told was that government was going to build factories in each district, built from scratch.
Yeah.
Now, when government came to power, government told us that if you already have an existing factory, now you can come in for support. Or if you want to start, you can come for support. But it was never going to be like that.
I don't think this is a discussion.
Anyway, it's not the discussion. We are talking about the
so I don't want to go there.
Yes,
but just for your listeners to understand, the whole concept of 1D, 1F is to government to facilitate, development of local resources, and of course create opportunities, job opportunities around local communities, rural communities especially, and then the local authorities. So government decided to do that. And then the concept later was that, okay, why are you giving money for new startups? Others are also struggling. They can also rise up on their feet. So let's bring them also another project. So initially government, I don't know for now, but initially government was leading funding for, sourcing funding for these people to start and all that. So the funding and everything was sourced by government, support was given them, free tax reliefs were given them for them to be able to start and operate. And that's how all of them do operate.
Okay.
Because we know from experience that when we open an organization, a company especially, and say that this is a Ghanaian company, let Ghanaian people manage it, we have tried very much to run it down. Like my brother was saying, for 32 years, what has been, to him, what has happened is that we have tried to manage and run this country down. And that is happening with most corporations, and that brought the collapse and the sale of most corporations. So why do you go back to revive something that we have tried over the years that didn't work? So the idea is...
I wish this was the topic. I would have questioned you more, but because it's not the topic...
Okay, so let me come to...
No, but I will respond to
this
I will respond to
because this particular thing we have discussed so many times here...
Because it's also a bankrupt idea to say that we have run down state institutions.
Exactly, so we'll talk about it.
How many let's
delve into our topic.
How many state institutions were not sold under NDC and
Uncle, so let's delve into our topic.
And what was the reason they gave to us?
Let's delve into our topic.
They told us that our people are not managing them well.
Uncle,
managing directors were jailed, some were shot because
to the topic for this morning, please. Thank you very much.
Shot by an NDC government.
You said?
Shot by an NDC government.
PNDC,
See, when they start going to NDC,
no,
just know that.
Please,
we're discussing democracy.
Please.
But you saw
the topic on the ground is to do with our floods. Please, let's talk about floods. Let's talk about floods.
You allow him to talk about so many things.
No. Let's talk. He actually spoke about the floods, and you know what he said was more flood related and where the finances are going.
If you permit me, I want to read something to you.
Please go ahead.
Please. Go ahead. Because the impression is that the president or the government has not invested so much into flooding, the issue of flooding in Accra area.
Yeah.
But I think last year or so, the minister, I don't know whether last year or this year, Asensu Boachi, was invited to Parliament.
When did he become Works and Housing?
Works and Housing. That's
the question. When was he confirmed as Works and Housing?
Prof, please. That's this year, right? That's this year, yes.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, this year. Yeah, this year. My mind. He went. They asked him what government has done, and this is what he said to Parliament. Till today, I've not heard any MP, any member of Parliament, anybody come out to challenge. He said that to date, 370 sitting projects representing 90% have been completed, and 84 drainage channel construction projects representing 42 have been completed. That's where I wanted to start from. He said that government has spent more, stated a government commitment to tackling the menace under the program resulting in the initiating of 384 distilling projects and commencing the construction of 202 drainage channels projects. Now, he gave the beneficial areas for this project. The impact of the investment, the minister noted, has been the mitigation of flood hazards in beneficiary communities such as Kuntuansi, Satellite, Achimota Mile 7, Kantamanso, Mamprobi, Abaka, Ayibi Town, Labadi, Olympia, Nungwa, Hacho, Medina, Firestone, Medina Market, Rico, a lot. All these things he said in Parliament, as what government has done, and nobody challenged it. He said that over 450 million Ghana cedis have so far gone into this project. Nobody has challenged it.
We know some of it has been found under people's bedrooms. So these are monies that could have been spent.
Please let him.
Other flood hotspots.
I beg you, gentlemen.
Other flood hotspots receiving, benefiting from the 2020 program include Kaswa Millennium City, Adenta Sakura, Insechi, Ablekuma, The Winya, Domain Railway Crossing, New Legon, Adenta, Sango, Nampajo Drains, Kakum River, Brim River, Lamprozorum Drain, Densu River. So all this he mentioned.
Okay.
So, and the effect that this has reduced the situation of flooding in these areas.
But we are not feeling it. The rains are here. They're exposing.
Have you gone to those areas to check?
I live in. You mentioned
see one thing.
that area.
Sister, let me tell you something.
Yes, Uncle Atom.
Rains comes from the heavens, and we are in the monsoon belt. We receive too many rains per minute. Countries that we receive too many rains, so the rains will fall, and flooding will occur.
But what are we doing
so
to prevent the floods?
That we must have.
Prof, please, let him learn.
Prof, I was watching a video 3 days ago where there was heavy flooding in Texas. The waters are so dirty because...
Can we concentrate on Ghana, please?
Because over time, like in Ghana, if you identify the problems for flooding, one is poor urban planning, which you spoke about.
Let's concentrate on Ghana.
So that's
we are talking about Ghana. We have an issue.
So
we need to solve the issue. You are telling us that this is what the minister said. But the minister
responded to him that
what the minister
when he says government has done investment, this is the investment government has done.
But we are not feeling it when the rains came.
You see, if you say you are not feeling it, because he said in the report that it has reduced the incidence of flooding in those areas.
Have you seen the floods?
Have you gone to all these areas?
Have you seen the floods on social media? I live in Adenta. I have seen the floods in Adenta. I've seen the floods in Circle. I've seen the floods that nearly took a young man's life at Odo. And so telling us these things that it has been done, yet when the rains came, we've been exposed.
No, you see, sister, please, let's be realistic.
Okay.
When it comes to matter of nature and all that, we scarcely can have total control over them. That is a fact. You can't say that you have a situation where it's all perfect and when it rains, everything. Fine, let's look at the speed at which the flooding subsides. When we have done something, when we have not done anything. You understand? I grew up around Abosokai. That time, Accra was mainly Abosokai, Jamestown, and then the other communities far away. They were far away. When it rains, we do experience the level of flooding that today you can experience around Abosokai and other things. Because we have built, we expanded, gone far, and the waters are all coming that way. Today, you go to this man's house, it's all tiles. It doesn't. There's no.
In my house.
Yes.
Have you been to his house?
What happened? What's happening to the $200 million project to dredge Dodo?
Mrs. Leatherpa's house, maybe.
Oh, you see, we are all here in Ghana. We have seen projects going on in the Odo River all the time. I believe that personally. I think that we have spent so much money on the downstream part of the situation, of the issue. But it's time for us also to look upstream to make sure that some of the areas I've mentioned, Legon area, Adenta area, and all those things, we address it because the waters are coming from there. Most of the waters are coming from there and then getting choked around here. You understand? The city has expanded. One other thing we need to also state for sure is that all over the years, there's no government that has come that has not added some expansion to drainage or whatever. We have done that. But we still have the problem. So it means that it is not, of course, I won't say the drainage situation that we have or the systems that we put in place is enough. It's not enough. We still have to continue the road.
Okay.
But you see, the problem we have goes beyond just building drainage. It is for us, as my brother said, for the local authorities to ensure. We live in a country where people, they write on their buildings, stop and produce your permit. Sometimes people just come to stop, write that, you come back, they will take money, and then you come and do the project again. Okay? So we are not controlling the development of the city. The city is just expanding. Buildings are being built anywhere. People are building on water courses. All that. Blocking where the water can flow freely. And these are causing the problems that we have. All right? So, for one, Accra has expanded beyond what it should be. So you are getting a lot of water coming from all the areas down to Accra here. And that is one of the big problems that we have. Like, I think the president was trying to say that we need to find other way to make sure that we can get the water, not just to flow into the main Accra city, but to also get into some other areas and go away. But you know, water, you cannot resist how much water, where water should go so much. Water, they say, it finds its own course and its own level.
Okay.
Water finds its own course and its own
Right, okay. I'll come back to you. Let me quickly read some messages. Of course, you know we love our viewers so much, and you are always with us. So anytime you send in your messages, we love to read it. And it's probably brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Make sure you go to Franco to get all your gadgets. Hi, beautiful Rosalind. In fact, I missed the show for a while, but the question I want to ask this morning is, why is the NPP finding ways and means to push our attentions from the KPMG report, OSP case, and Brian Champon stealing our SNIT properties? Nanado's third term in office through Baumia Dear. May I never leave Ghana in Ghana to witness it. Master Raman, Tuna Sola, Tuna Kalba. Right, Master Raman, we are going to discuss the SML deal, so make sure you stay glued to your television set. Meshak Ashanti at Amasaman says the victory of NDC is coming again, so let us continue to keep our hope alive and vote massively for President Mahama come December 7th so that his game-changer policy 24-hour economy can be implemented to create sustainable jobs for all Ghanaians. Greetings to Sedom Apenyo, incoming MP Amasaman. Good morning, Rosalind. If I had known that NPP people are not trustworthy, I wouldn't have voted for them. But all the same, I learnt my lesson. Rosalind, could you believe that Teachers Mutual Fund, which is a common fund contributed monthly by poor teachers to enable them have easy access to personal loans from their own savings, has been hijacked by this very government, who worsened the plight of teachers. Since 2021, all our monies deducted by Controller and Accounts General has not been released to the funds, to teachers' funds. We applied for loans to pay school fees and solve health problems over so many months now, and there is no money to loan to us despite approval. When we pursued them, they said Controller refused to release our own money deducted since 2021 to the fund. How? Our own poor money? We are seriously peeved because this is wickedness against teachers. Tell the NPP man this morning. Tell the NPP his man to tell the NPP this man to tell his people to release our money. Posterity will not forgive NPP government. John Achim. Okay, John from Achim. John, the NPP man has said you. Uncle Ato has said you. Uncle Ato, please fight for them, okay? I beg you. 2024 elections, yenim obiaje. Hey, what's this?
Yenim obia,
Sir, Yenimobia is supposed to be Nim. Okay, so
you are taking for the person.
No, but
that is what it's written.
Yenimobia, just said Mahama. We know everybody.
Okay, so we know everybody.
Apart from Mahama.
Okay, Yenimobia, just a Mahama from Abla de Fiakumazongo. All right, so good morning, host. We have a vice president who can depreciation the city, but not to stabilize the cities, going around making empty promise before NPP will know they are back to opposition. We Ghanaians need a 24-hour economy. Achu from Katamanso, New Bridge. You know, sometimes they do typo though. So, and these tree writers and all of that. I'm confused. If TUC cannot get men and women to manage its investment, then what business does the TUC have sitting in air-conditioned office managing Ghana businesses? What a shame. Ghana is bleeding. Patrick Accra. Okay, so this one says, good morning to you. The local government system in Ghana serves as a model of effective governance and development at the local level. By decentralizing power, allocating resources strategically, and promoting citizen participation, the system inspires community-driven development that is sustainable, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of the people. Through continued support and investment, the local government system in Ghana has the potential to drive meaningful and lasting change for the benefit of all citizens. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa. Aaron, it's been a while. All right, good morning to you and to your guest, Madam. Currently, we do not know who is in charge of our country. Nothing is working except corruption. Sumani Hamza. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jane Mensah and Nado deployed police officers at limited registration centers in the Volta region. The eligible voters were not happy with the conduct of the police officers. At Kita, we have 10 police officers guiding us. The applicants are afraid to come to the EC office to register their voter ID. Abochi Philip from Kita. Abochi, really? Is this true? If it's true, send us pictorial evidence, please. Alhaji Hamza Pikfam, that's okay. Good morning, Rosalind. We should be truthful to ourselves in this country and speak the truth for once. What was the purpose of creating the sanitation ministry with budgets always allocated to them? Why always steal in the name of the Lord whilst people are dying through floods? For God's sake, we all saw what happened to Ibrahim Mahama of Engineers and Planets, okay? This was a man who used his resource to work on the Odor River. What happened to him? Let us not forget Parliament approved $200 million for work to be done on the Odor River. What happened to the monies? Just last week, another $150 million has been approved by Parliament, again for the same purpose. Did we go or did we come? Journalists in this country are part of our problems because journalists have failed to hold this particular government on check. Oh, we are trying, darling. We are trying. Awuja Delali from Brekum. Okay, flooding in Accra, Ghana has been a persistent issue that has destroyed people's belongings and caused many other problems. 1, 2, 3. The causes of flooding in Accra are multifaceted and include the following. Number 1, inadequate drainage system that are easily overwhelmed by heavy rainfall, the construction of buildings and other structures on waterways which blocks the water flow, littering and the lack of public trash bins which causes gutters and drains to clog. The city's rapid urbanization and population growth which has put a strain on its infrastructure. The effects of climate change, which is believed to contribute to more frequent and intense flooding. We should change our mind and character. Know before it's too late. Now, okay, you want to say now. Now before it's too late. Do we remember June 3rd? And have we learned something? My humble greetings to Sewa Miracle Foundation Breakum. May God bless her for helping the poor. All right, so I'll come back to you because I still have a lot of, I can't read all these messages. I'll come back to you and read the messages. So keep sending in your messages. I want to delve into the Ejapa deal conversation. Hey, sorry, SML. SML.
Which to go for?
Let's do this. Hey, wanted to chill you. Let's go into the SML conversation. And the SML deal actually was agreed by the then finance minister. And we know that Ghanaians called for the head of the finance minister, and he's no more the finance minister. I'm talking about Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, who was a former finance minister. Now, this deal was to help our energy sector. When I talk about the energy sector, I talk about, our Minerals Commission, I talk about our petroleum sector as well. Now, Manasseh Azure of the Fourth Estate did a lot of investigations where he brought out the KPMG report. Initially, the KPMG report was not transparent until the government decided to release it to be transparent. And upon transparency, Manasseh managed to realize that through the KPMG report, we realized that SML did not help our petroleum sector in any way, neither did it help the Minerals Commission in any way. Now, he further called these persons and asked them if they even knew about the SML deals, and they said they didn't know anything about it. However, the SML has been paid $100 million for work done. To Manasseh, they don't deserve this money because they made no profit for these industries. Now, let me start this conversation with maybe Bernard. Bernard, come in here.
I've listened with shock the revelations by the Fourth Estate through its journalist, Manasseh Azure, about the existence of SML and what they sought to do. In the course of their investigations, the institutions and agencies that SML is supposed to work with are unaware of the operations of SML. And in a documentary that you have aired on your various channels, the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority has not been aware that SML has been contracted to come and do any checking of petroleum management and petroleum flows. They are unaware, and they did not engage anybody, no discussions whatsoever. At the Minerals Commission, the chief executive of the Minerals Commission, Martin Ayesi, has not any iota of idea that SML is involved in wanting to, check the flows and outflows of mineral revenues in this country. And so who signed the deal then?
The former minister.
So Minister for Finance.
Yeah.
In full actualization of the Ajapa deal, the Ajapa document, signed and parceled out a contract that has no relevance whatsoever to the people of Ghana, where several millions of dollars will have to be parceled and channeled for
the name is Ejapa, right? Ejapa deal.
Ejapa. So that they can sell. So they parcel out contracts that are non-existent, then monies are paid, and then they go to the other end and collect the money and they share. before 2017, there was this person who jumped out, was actually an advisor of government on government revenues at the Ministry of Finance under the Ghana Revenue Authority. Then, soon after they won political power, this man, who is advising government on the GRA, decided that he will go and form a company, and then moves, and now comes to GRA, and GRA awards him a contract. And the Ministry of Finance goes ahead to pay. Now, when Manasseh Azure says that the Ministry of Finance did not do due diligence, or they failed to do due diligence, I'm afraid to say no. Manasseh, you are wrong. Actually, there were not supposed to be any due diligence. This was supposed to be a cook and eat situation. And so they cooked it, and they have eaten, shared the money among themselves. So if you go to the Ajapa document that we are talking about, you will see systematically that everything in that document is being implemented. Everything.
So what you're trying to say is that because Ghanaians fought the Ajapa deal and it never came to be, they decided to start the SML.
Ajapa deal? We are not talking, I'm talking about the document, Ajapa document.
That's what I'm saying.
Ajapadie? No, it's called Ajapadie.
Ajapadie.
Ajapadie. The document is called Ajapadie.
Okay.
If you read that document from page 1, then you will see that it is an Achim decision. Grand scheme to take over Ghana for their chiefdom. And everything is being taken in accordance with what is written in the document. Everything is being taken. You don't have that document?
You've sent it to me. I have it.
You read it?
I do have it.
And so you will see that the SML deal is not different from the things that they have catalogued. In fact, in order to take hold of the financial institutions, they have what they call their biological children, and they have what they call the adopted children.
It's in the document.
It's there.
I don't know who wrote this document.
It's there.
I don't know. I really don't know who
you don't
wrote
have
this
it.
document.
I
have the document, but I don't know who wrote this document. So yes, I don't know.
What you are saying about bilateral children.
Biological.
It's in there, but the question is who wrote it.
It doesn't matter who wrote it. What matters is that, are we seeing the manifestations of that document in government? Why do you want to know who wrote it, when everything in that document is like the blueprint for running Ghana? Sometimes I don't get what you people want to achieve. So if the author did not put the name and everything is being run, that this phone will have to be taken from me and given to Kujo.
If we know the author, we'll be able to tell where it's coming from.
Oh, the thing is that if you read that language, you know that that language is couched by Gabi Ocherdako.
That's what you're saying. You are alleging.
Don't allege.
You are alleging.
Don't allege.
Because there's no name to it.
Don't allege. Okay.
Are you done?
Yes, we are done.
I'm saying that if you know the way Gabi writes, and you see the language in the document, you know that that language is from Gabi Ocherdako.
Allegation from Bernard, though.
Do you understand? And so evidently, and once everything in that document is being planned, how they will even sack some people, how they will work and get Samia Oku out of national organizership, how they will have to get John Boydu out. It's all in that document. In the Ajapadie document. I'm surprised you don't have that document. I can share it with you.
Okay.
Maybe Honorable's name is even...
No, I haven't.
No, so you see, I struggle to delve deep into that because it's
the
there. The
document I read is the financial document that was brought to Parliament.
Okay.
And
I'm talking about Ajapadie document.
From my perspective as a finance person, I thought that document was good.
Okay. So you don't have the full document?
I haven't looked at. In fact, I haven't read whatever he's saying.
Okay.
But as parliamentarian...
No,
but in 2020 it was trending. This document was trending in 2020.
Maybe.
When it was taken to court.
This is called Ajapadie. You can go through. This is called Ajapadie.
This document has even gone to court.
This is called... Oh, you don't want to?
No, I'll read it, but not now.
This is
so you
might have missed your
Anyway,
name.
continue though.
No, so when we see these things happening, and you are looking for state capture, and you know, this is the document I sent to PLO Lumumba. Remember, leading to the elections, PLO Lumumba had come to say that if he was constituting his African cabinet, Akufo-Addo would be in that cabinet. And so when I saw that thing, I sent him a message that, did you really say these things? And he said, yes. I said, how can you be in Kenya and determine that an Akufo-Addo, in my view, that is not qualified to be a unit committee member? If we are to go strictly so-and-so, with the values that we must have for statesmen, he is not qualified. You tell me that you'll be in an African cabinet, then he told me that I should go and give my own criteria. I said, that's not what professors do. Professors have what we call thematic criteria that we can all look and say, by this criteria, yes, this person is qualified and this person is not qualified. Then I sent PLO Lumumba that take this document. After reading it, come and tell me that Akufo-Addo is qualified to be in your... Soon after reading this document, he told me that I didn't know that we were dealing with a tribal bigot. So anybody...
That's what Party Lumumba told.
Yes.
That's what he's saying. Anyway,
Oh,
continue.
you don't know that he's my big brother?
You have just about 2 minutes.
I'm asking
You don't know.
Please,
I mean, this is a man that comes to me and then we go as far as Sankana to my hometown. So I am telling you that anybody that has read this document knows that if you are looking for state capture, don't go to South Africa, come to Ghana. Under President Akufo-Addo, Ghana's nation, our nation Ghana, has been captured for his tribe. And everything, including what is even happening as Senate, is documented in this document. You know that. Everything is in this document. And then we sit down here. And we have my man also coming to defend something. So this SML deal, it is not a case that they failed to do due diligence. It is a case that it has been planned, and this is the way they wanted to chop our money, and they have chopped it. And they say, go to hell, what will you do?
Well, Uncle Asu, please respond.
Okay, so my first response to him is that this SML deal, if you go into it, the contract, it started from way back, February 2017. That is long, long before 2020 when this Japan document came out. So this SML thing has nothing to do with the Japan. They have no relations. I think that what you sent to us was the observation or the comment by Manasi that no proper assessment was made. And of course, that is in the report, the KPMG report. I want to say that, first of all, the KPMG came in because the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, decided that we need to, he has appointed men to positions to help in delivering good to Ghana, revenue and all that to Ghana. The people are working. You receive a report that this is what has happened. Contracts have been signed, not gone through proper whatever, and said, it's okay. Auditors come in and check for me. The auditors did an assessment and came out with a report. And as a finance person, as an accountant, practicing accounting for a number of years, I believe that the audit document is one of the things that if we decide that we are going to go with, it will clean up our system. Because one, the auditors clearly stated, please listen.
I'm listening.
Because I normally don't want to. I normally don't do politics. I speak the fact as it is.
Speak.
The fact of the matter is that if you go to the KPMG report, there is no requirement in the Ghana Public Financial Management Act that requires that some assessment, like what do you call it, is done before such contracts are established. It's not there. The report mentioned that there's a guideline in IMF, is it World Bank or IMF guideline that requires that such assessments are done. And then they mentioned even the direct guidelines from Ghana Institute of Procurement and whatever, supply and procurement. That also demands that those assessments are done. But the Act itself, the Public Financial Management Act itself, doesn't require such things to be done. So it is either you look at the, if I'm a public person and I'm going to work, I don't know the guidelines from Ghana procurement and whatever people. So I act by the act. The act says that I see a need. So we need to address it. We need to go to and address it. But some important things have been identified. You don't get PPA, friends say, approval. You don't do this, don't do this. How can a public institution that's deliver good to people decide not to do that? So that is also a question that I feel that, in that sense, GRA and all the people who handled this process, they didn't do well. They let the president down.
I was waiting for you to, and I like that you said, because I was going to question, but something said keep quiet and let him land. So I'm glad that you have said that.
Yes,
they didn't do well
in the
because they didn't do the assessment.
They didn't do the assessment.
Yes.
But I'm saying that per our own Public Financial Management Act law, there is no requirement that they should do such an assessment for such contract. But where they failed us is when they didn't get the PPA approval. It's there. You have not gotten PPA approval, and you have done the contract, and you have extended it. So GRA erred. Initially, when this thing, number two, it's the president that decided, in fact, when Manasseh wrote to get the document, he said, I won't give you, because A and B doesn't allow me to give you. But President retreated and has put the document in public. Because for me, this is a very good document.
The president is in breach of the law.
This is a very good document that when we all follow, in management of our public institutions and Ghana can go forward. Because it set out it's a good audit report. It set out clear things that everybody should do and they do not. But let me come to my third factor. You have said, and a lot of people have said, I've heard they have not done anything and they have received the money.
I'm not saying this is coming from Manasseh. I'm not saying I didn't go into them. But Manasseh, it's here.
The audit report is here.
It's here.
The audit report
so
is
if
here.
you say you are saying it's as though I am sitting somewhere and I'm concocting a story. I am not saying.
Listen to the audit report.
Please go ahead.
It's not Manasseh we are talking. We are talking about the report. The audit report says that among the things they were charged to do, number one, quantitative increment in volume. They were to do volumes lifted and reported to GRA. Based on our analysis, we determined an incremental volume of 1.7 billion litres for the 2020 to 31st 2023, amounting to 38.6 litres per month. Incremental revenue. So there was an incremental volume because of the work that SML did. There was also incremental tax revenue. Based on our analysis, we determined an incremental tax revenue of 2.5 billion from the period May 1st, 2020 to December 2023. This works out approximately to about 55.68 million per month. 55.68 million per month. Incremental. This net fee, net taxes paid to SML for the same period was 7,200 million, monthly average of 16.36 million. So we can question that, but the point of the matter is that there was an incremental monthly revenue of 55.68 million as a result of the work these people do. Quantitative benefits. SML conduct 24 out 24.
In what sense?
I'm coming because I actually when I was reading a report this morning, and I actually realized that from what Manasseh was saying, there was no increment. Actually, the increment what happened before the deal was signed.
The audit report,
and that is what. But the audit report, it's Manasseh's reveal comes from what happened before and when it was signed, and whatever monies they made before, and what. So I'll try and get that.
Whatever Manasseh
I'll try and get it, and I'll
what he has said.
No, it's
what auditors have said is the report that we need to consider.
All right.
Because that is based on investigation. The auditors are saying that there was a quantitative increment in volumes of 1.7 billion. And there was incremental in tax revenue of 55.68 million.
From which period to which period?
Oh, it said the incremental tax revenue, was 2.45 billion for the period of May 1st, 2020 to 31st December 2023, which averaged to approximately 55.68 million per month.
So what I'm saying, in the operations of the downstream sector and all of this mineral sector, you look at output of what is happening. So in any case, if there's not been a decrease in output but an increase in output, obviously there will be an increase in production. and revenue generation.
So you see,
so how is that linked? So it's the audit report.
So wait, I'm trying to get the. Please continue. I'm just trying to get it. Please, you have just 3 minutes to land. Though.
Okay.
Another 3 minutes.
Some of the things
I didn't say 10.
SML done is conduct electronic real-time monitoring of the outflow and partial monitoring.
And the customs are unable to do this.
Please, Prof, let him do his time.
You see, when you read the audit report,
continue,
let me tell you,
I don't know why
when you read the audit report, one of the things that necessitated this were leakages. Of course, I'll say that you see, if you run an organization where your revenue is not being tracked, the volumes that are coming in, all these are not being tracked. Prior to this, and they were not being tracked. So it is what they tell you that this is what we have delivered that you record.
This is what is said in the report. Says page 157 of the report has an average of key findings. An average of 400 million liters per month was already being recorded in Ghana in 2019 and the first quarter of 2020 as per our review of NPA's data. NPA and GRA recorded a significant decrease in lifting volumes in April 2020. That is 336 million and 311 million liters. It's from the auditor's report.
No, the auditor's report is what is what.
But I'm reading.
What is the page?
Can I finish?
What's the page?
Can I finish, please?
Is it the report?
Can I finish? Can I finish?
No, please.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish.
No, I'm reading the audit report.
Let me finish.
Somebody's analysis from the audit report. That's the point I want to point to.
Let me finish.
Okay, go on.
Thank you very much. Spanning the period 1st to 20th April 2020, volumes recorded after April 2020 were constantly above 400 million liters. And then the final figure on this page says in the latter half of 2020, when SML commenced operation, data comparison from 3 sources indicate that NPA reported higher annual volumes than both GRA and SML. Following NPA, GRA reported the next highest annual volumes, with SML recording the lowest annual volume. This is what is being said. And this is what he says again. I am saying this to make a point that GRA told us that it was only when they brought SML that they started recording over 400 million liters a month. And it is the reason they attribute the increase in revenue to SML. But that is what KPMG is saying, that before SML started its operation, even in 2019, NPA was already recording up to 400 million liters.
You hear?
What you are reading
is
Banasi's analysis of audit report. But I'm giving you exactly the KPMG report. Okay. I'm reading from KPMG report, not some analysis, somebody's analysis.
Okay.
And the KPMG, which was taxed to do this audit, is saying that from the period May 1st, 2020 to this, we saw an incremental raise in volume of 1.7 billion. And we saw a monthly incremental raise in revenue because of there were work that something they have done. They were doing reconciliations. They have installed monitoring 24/7-hour monitoring. There's only one company that was not monitored because they came on late. All this were being done. I'm just trying to say, see, it said SMA conducts 6 levels of reconciliation to identify avenues that may cause revenue losses to GRA and share discrepancy report to GRA on the following. So all these activities have been done. And so if somebody say, I'm not justifying that the money they received was adequate, was enough, or was below or not. I'm saying that some services have been done as a result of their work. We were receiving additional 55 million every month for the service that these people did.
Okay.
The fact of the matter must be established. GRA failed to do due diligence. They failed to go to Parliament. These are all in the report.
Okay.
And I'm saying that if we can get public services to go by this, even this document, and decide that this is the way we want to operate, we want to make sure that we align our operation this way, Ghana will be the beneficiary.
Okay. Prof.
Well, I mean, this is quite interesting. I found Honorable and a trained accountant running amok with an audit report quite interesting, because an audit report is still even not a finality. It raises issues. Responses have to come. So without the responses, we can't even treat an audit report as a finality. So I'm wondering why there's even a banter between what Manasseh said and what the audit report said, simply because it's coming from KPMG. In any case, why is it that this very report government was tight-lipped about it when it first was served on the presidency? People asked about it. There are even information coming from the grapevine that it took the minority in parliament when they visited the presidency to say, okay, based on conditions of which you are asking for us to action certain things, we want this report to be made public. If that is the case, we need to pat the minority at the back for making this happen or making this a reality, because when it emerged, it became a very secret document. And why would an audit report? You spend taxpayers' money, right, to invest in an audit report by recruiting a Big Four accounting firm. It's not your pocket money. It's not the Jubilee House's money. It's public funds. You used to do that. And then you are holding the report to your chest. It had to take minority to call for it to be made public to the good people of Ghana. Then that is
where did the minority call for it?
Well, I'm saying I said grapevine.
So don't
right?
So let's say don't say minority. The president decided that
at what point did he decide that?
Oh, of course, he has a right to decide.
After refusing to share it within the first week, he has a prerogative that he spends taxpayers.
Please continue.
Right, for a KPMG report, pay a Big Four accounting firm, and he can decide when to release it and when not to release
it. For it to be put out.
No, but we made noise about it. The minority made noise.
So let's say the people of Ghana.
I'm telling you what is factual.
People of Ghana.
Did the minority not ask for it to be put out?
Everybody asked for it. Let's just stick to it. Please continue. Ato, please.
All right.
Okay, assumptions and build on it.
In any case, when you look at this scandal, right, it's, for me, it bastardizes state institutions, right? The GRA, the Minerals Commission, this is a regulator. The GRA is our chief revenue collector. Then you have the NPA, another regulator of the downstream petroleum sector. Why do I say this? And the ports, if you put it that way. Are we trying to say our customs at the ports, right, can collect revenue on real-time basis? When SML, if you look at the historical antecedents, if you go to their website, based on what they say, they have even no prior experience before getting into this space. Right. So it was a very green company that jumped onto the space, and for whatever reason, they decide to give them such a contract. But what I always say is that...
But did you realize that a part of the contract was saying that, how we were measuring our fuel, should I say fuel or petroleum, was where people had to jump on tanks to measure. So now there's a system.
No one still does this crude methods. And that's why I say they are bastardizing institutions like the NPA. Are they trying to tell me that the NPA
said they were
already doing that?
Well, that's what they told us.
When was the last time you drove past a fuel station and saw someone on a tanker? These days are long gone. I don't know why they use primitive machinations to come into the field of... it's always all about PR when it comes to this government. And they should, have some respect, a modicum of respect for Ghanaians. We are not stupid people, right? In any case, when you look at SML in and of itself, that boasts about having the experience in corporate governance and the likes of that. The entire contract negates every corporate governance practice in the world, right? In terms of processes and due process and approvals. So if a company boasts of such and tend to engage itself in such a contract or contractual agreement, that is very problematic. Now you look at even taxes to the people of Ghana, right, when they were paid the monies. How has that manifested itself? So the whole SML deal is so murky that you don't even know where to start from. But it only reveals the grand scheme of this government in how it seeks to have state capture. And why do I tell you? I tell you this. I think a few years ago, was it 2-3 years ago, on one of your sister channels, that is even like in the early days of the government, I did make a point very clear that the financial sector of the country was captured and defied basic corporate governance practices. When you have Ken Ofori-Atta as finance minister, we had Kelly Gajipo, who was sitting at the Central Bank's board. We had Yofi Grant, who was the GIPC boss, right, and draws his funding from the presidency and by that, an extension, the finance ministry, all coming from the data bank stock. And we have Alfred Ogbami, who sat at SEC. So you look at this triangle or a square, right, of EcoBank ex-executives that had captured our financial sector.
Data bank.
Data bank. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Data bank was going to come for you.
Right, yeah, that was a slip. So, having a capture of our financial institution, where is the corporate governance here? And Ghanaians, we kept quiet and allowed this to happen. It is a manifestation of this concentration of ex-data bank executives capturing our key financial institutions that is beginning to reveal itself in the SMLs, the SNETs, and the likes of it. In any case, I quite remember, look at what is happening at SNET today. Look at what is happening at SNET today. I quite remember when Osofo Mafo's son was appointed to SNET. People started saying, oh, he was an analyst, an investment analyst. And I went like, what do you mean by I was an investment analyst? In the advanced world, that's an entry-level graduate role that you write aptitude tests for. And you think that he is best qualified to run people's pension, blood, sweat, and tears. When you have well-meaning, trained people within in and of itself that could have risen to these roles.
But these things, they happen under each government.
Well, I mean, is that a justification? Should we keep saying that?
So we should, if the NDC should come to power, we should not see that happen.
Whose son was at SNET and the NDC?
We can talk about it, SNET. We can talk about other institutions, but let's continue. Let's continue that.
Yeah, so you see, when we do this, we give an excuse of this government, and these are things that embolden them to do what they're doing, to all of us, including yourself. When we talk about...
She doesn't pay SNET.
She doesn't pay SNET.
I pay SNET. Who says I don't pay SNET? Who says I don't pay SNET?
I hope I'll have time to...
We'll have some, not much though, but a little.
Can I learn? So you look at this whole SM, but what I always say, Rosalind, is this. Why do we have to go for low-hanging fruits each time we have revenue generation issues and the likes of that? Petroleum sector, or let's say our extractive sector, by... the very regulation that surrounds it, all right? Given, modernity of contractual agreements and the likes of that, collecting revenue is not very difficult. I'm looking forward to a day where a government would say, the informal sector, right, that we are unable to tap in the collection of revenue. So I'm looking for a day where an SML would emerge in that form to say that, okay, indeed, we are collecting revenues from all the kiosks that are dotted around the country, right, on a commission base. This is the most difficult job to be done. Why is SML not involved in this? And rather going into areas that are not gray, that already exist. GRA cannot. And yet you would have Dr. Baumia go around town speaking to captains of industries and telling them that the GRA is harassing them. Again, a bastardization of state institutions. In any case, you look at this GRA issue and the murky incidents that are surrounding, SML, that are surrounding GRA. What happened when the SML's issue started revealing? The boss of GRA, right, his appointment or the extension of his contract was backdated. Poor governance, right? A board was dissolved. Whilst the board was dissolved and we're existing within the period of dissolution, which meant that there was no existing board within GRA, a new commissioner general was appointed, right? Was she in acting capacity? We don't know because everyone refers to her as a commissioner general. Just a few days ago, a new board was constituted and sworn in, led by Joe Gatti. Right? Is that board going to rectify her appointment as commissioner, or is going to be business as usual? So these are some of the issues that we, attach to our institution.
Well, with her position, I think some eyebrows have been raised with regards to that, because no letter has been brought out as to whether she is actually the person to be there or she was acting as such. And, there was no board. So there's been a lot of questions.
No, but these are questions that every concerned mind should ask.
There's been questions with regards to that. So we are waiting for the government to say something with regards to that.
But Rosalind, what I'm saying is that, look, this SML issue, right, and the Senate issue ought to be looked at carefully, because these are blood, sweat, and tears of people.
We are talking about that, and we'll keep talking about that right here on Prime Morning. And this is the news flash.
This should be a referendum.
We'll keep talking about it.
Government.
We'll keep talking about it. So Alassane Cisse from Zenu Central says, good morning to you all. In fact, if Ghana was to be my civilized country, the Attorney General should have been released from his post or should have resigned by now. But this is not surprising, because this current president, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the Attorney General are too partisan than being nationalistic. The their biggest interest is scoring political points and building the nation. If you have one minister who can pack more than $1 million in her house, how do you then expect things to work right? What a shame. Good morning, host. Please, can you ask Mr. Mona to send me a copy of the Japadia deal, or where can I get it to read? Bernard.
You send that to me.
Hardy Pig Farm says all that left in the minds of Nanado Bawumia and their MPP communication is confusion and weak thoughts. Whatever they spew out don't make sense. No wonder they were able to believe that some guinea fowls flew from Ghana to Burkina Faso. If Nanado as driver couldn't take us to our destination, then don't expect anything good from the mate, Bawumia. Vote for a visionary leader, His Excellency, the humble and hardworking gentleman called JDM for a better Ghana. Hashtag vote John and Jane. Good morning, madam. Host, DMB is the God sent to the Republic of Ghana. No intimidation from the NDC will stop Dr. Bawumia becoming the next president of Ghana. I will choose Dr. Bawumia anytime, any day over former President Mahama, BK Batayas Basayi, Jessica Municipal. Okay, this one says, the nation Ghana is dying. Let's wake up and save our own before it's too late. Oh, you. Sami Boache Asamankese says that the good people of Ghana have seen the light and making their minds to vote massively for the MPP-led Dr. Bawumia to break the aid to protect the free SHS, and no amount of propaganda and mischief can change their minds. Now the NDC Creighton, Luton and Sharon have been exposed. Please, what is the definition of pre-bargaining? Your guests are good minds. Regards to Honorable Charles Echampon, the MP for Asabakese and Frank Esiedu Bekoe Protozwa. Good morning, Roslyn. Tell the MPP man not to pollute the minds of listeners by saying Ghana is in the monsoon region. He's struggling to defend the indefensible. Shame. Nanat Kakarite Chiman. All right, so I think this will be all that I can read. I wish I could read all, but I can't. And so let me take my final words from my gentleman. So, Ato, final words. You have just a minute to wrap up.
Professor
a minute.
Said, first of all, I want to say that we should be grateful for the president for having commissioned this KPMG investigation and then also adoring the report, because the findings there can help us, guide us in how public service is run. Okay, for me, that is it. Basically, there is an issue. It's been investigated. Findings have been done, and then this can guide us going forward how we run state issues. Of course, the GRA has a long way to go. Because, like he said, I have mechanics there. You send your car, the next even they come, you have to pay this for spare parts. After that, everything, they come to take 1,600, 2,000 from you. No, who pays that? Nobody pays that. They don't collect anything. So if you can have an institution that can go around collect that, that's fine. Okay. But when he talked about state capture, we were in this country. If you are talking about state capture, we're in this country when even the box site on the ground was sold to ex-president brother.
That's why they are in opposition.
Is that?
That's why they are in opposition.
Okay, so
you are in opposition.
What? Tell me, what box site on the ground has been sold to
No. I'm just saying that when we keep making reference to people, when we keep making reference to
Ibrahim has been in that sector for far too long.
I'm saying that if he has been in that sector, 29 December.
So you have just barely 30 seconds to
29 December. 2020. So
you no longer promote in-house Ghanaian companies as
okay. No promoting. 29 December, when you are barely 7 days to leave office, you sell bauxite on the ground to your brother. Is that a good
deal? Did he not qualify or go through due process?
Please.
What due process?
Ato, you're done.
Bernard, there is no due process. There's no process. There's no assessment.
Ato, please, you're done. Your time is up. Bernard.
First, I think that this nation is bigger than the NDC and the MPP.
And the PNC.
And the PNC, of course. Yeah. But over the last 32 years, it has been the NDC and MPP that has had the opportunity to run the affairs of this nation. And miserably, they have displayed what they can offer. Anytime we are talking about issues of concern, you get broken by the fact that when you are hitting at what has to be done for our people to get a little bit of liberty so they can survive, you are told that why are you talking about it now? It happened yesteryears. So because it happened yesteryears, we must tolerate the insensitiveness of our government. When we sit today, and our nation is run on the basis that a certain tribe has never been conquered in war, and that after 1957, they have made to live in the shadows of others. And therefore, Akufo-Addo's presidency is to restore that tribe, their highs, into glory, and to make the Achim Kingdom what it's supposed to be. That should be a concern for every Ghanaian, irrespective of where you stand.
Right.
This is what we are seeing today. This SML deal, cooked for Christian Soti to manage, is part of the grand scheme contained in the Ajapadia document.
Bernard,
and when we are talking about it, and I hear my brother Francis Kujo speak the way he's speaking in defense of it, I am terrified.
Time is up.
Did I speak in defense of it?
Yes, please.
Well, I mean, you look at all these procurement contracts that have been happening on our national landscape. It points to one direction. It is to fuel an ill campaign.
Read the preamble of it.
I mean, so you look at the opulence of Dr. Baumia's campaigns all around town. It should tell you where these things are coming from.
Yeah.
And the non-connection to, so you'd see how brazen they are. They don't even respect the business community. It's because they've cooked all of these things for themselves to know where it can funnel to in terms of campaign funding. And these are things that we ought to look at critically. You look at the PPE coming out to say, oh, this was not ratified by the PPE, this didn't come through due process. And why would the government keep doing this? And they keep cherry-picking issues that they ought to go after. So look at this KPMG issue. Nothing has been referred to the special prosecutor. Look at PDS. Nothing has been referred to the special prosecutor.
Now what
right? And in all of these things, someday, somehow, just if a name of any opposition element is mentioned, the swift nature at which the presidency refers the matter to the OSP will tell you that they are reducing that office to witch hunting activities. Even, look,
anyway,
no, what I say is that corruption has been so endemic.
Your time is up, Prof.
Your time is up.
So this is all time of permit time for this morning. Friday morning as Newsflash segment, which is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Don't forget to go to Franco Trading Enterprise for all your gadgets. It's the mobile phones that you want, television sets, CCTV. Gentlemen, please, I'm on air. Thank you very much. The CCTV cameras you're looking for, please look no further. Just go to them and they will give it to you. You can download the app on your phone. It's Franco Trading app, or you can visit the website www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone papa for you. We have other conversations coming your way. We have Nashoko, who is in the building, and she's coming to tell us about Akushika, the play that you cannot afford to miss. Yes, Nashoko is here. She's coming to talk about Akushika, the stage play you cannot afford to miss. And then there's What's Trending, which will also come up soon. Do stay with us. My name is Roslyn Felly. We'll be right back.
Newsflash was brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fear.